Okay, I've been adding the shelves, and currently I've got 13 slots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, it doesn't quite make it to the 14 with a 12-inch module. It does and it doesn't. Like, I can put one of these flatter archival links, these I think are the older type ones, go put one up there and it only, well, it just sort of fits, once I put a top on it there. It's a bit of a, yeah, it's not too tight, but yeah, it just fits. So, I won't have to put any other. Now what I've done here, I've just got that top shelf there like that. So what I'm going to do there, what I should do, and I will, I'm going to take one of the ledges and I'm going to cut it down so that it's not going to poke out, because as they are now, because they're 3/4 of an inch high, it just pokes out about 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is just cut off 1/8 of an inch. On both of them. So they'll end up being 5/8 of an inch wide, high, because I'm not going to put a shelf on top of these, because they're going to have the lid here. It's just to hold this one in place, this shelf in place. So, in effect now we have slots for 14 stamps on this module. Now, if you didn't have any of the narrower ink pads to go in there, what you could do is just cut this casing to 11.5 inches, and that will then fit the 13 stamp pads, 13 slots quite well. So 11.5 inches tall by the 9 inches wide, and scored at 3 and 6 inches to get your casing. Still do the 1/2 inch triangular base ledges there to get your angle, and do the others exactly the same, and you'll get 13 even slots all the way. So there we go. Now we'll just put the top on, I think. So we needed, it's not quite 3 1/8 by, not quite 3 1/8. So maybe if I do it 3 1/16 of an inch squared, and then cut it back if I need to. So I've actually cut it to 3 1/8 inch wide by 3 1/16 deep. And then I've got some hinges. So just going to attach those to the lid. And you'll notice with these I've only got one end mitered, and that's because there's nothing to go over the top of, well, there's nothing that hooks onto this, the front of this one, so just cut those down a little bit long. Alright, so it's now ready to be attached onto it. So what I wanted to do though is apply some wet glue around that edge, and I think I might use some Mono Multi, because it's got a really fine tip and it's as strong as the Aleene's and the Scotch Quick Dry in my opinion. Okay. Now on with the lid. Line it up. So I want it lined up with the front first. Then I shall line it up with the back, and then press it all down. I think that's about it. I think there. Okay, let's see if this fits in there nicely. Okay, so the only problem with that is that once we put something on the top, it cannot jut out that top. It's got to be in line with that there, because it can't go out any further. This is sitting up above that now. See that there? That's the gradient that we have there. But it sits in there nicely, so I'm happy with that. And then we should be able to fit 14 pads in here. Now, what about this colour box? We tried that, didn't we? Yeah, that's fine. And it sort of sits down a little bit further, so it might be alright to go a little bit out there. So what I have to do now, apart from make 3 more of these units, is to make up some labels for these pads, and I want them so that there's one on either end, so it doesn't matter which end you put your ink in. Pretty darn good. So I've got to paint the inside of this unit inside here and on the edges with gesso, white gesso. So then do it 3 more times. Okay, I'll be back. Putting maybe 6, but that just wasn't going to look any good, because if I put 3 on one side and 3 on the other, it's going to be a rectangle, and it's just going to be too bulky as a unit on my desk. So it had to be that way, and that there should equal roughly about 6 1/4 or 6 1/8. Yeah, 6 1/4 inches by 6. Why is it 6 1/8? And 6 1/4. No, 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. Yep. Okay. So now I have to join those together, and I'll join 2 at a time, and then join both sections together there. Then on the top, I'm going to make something up to sit some Reinkers, because I don't have too many, but I do have some, and I'm just wondering whether I could add a box in a box so that I have some Reinkers on the bottom and some on the top, and both of them can be pulled out. Does the bottom one need to be pulled out? Just need to pull the top out. As a thought, I'll be back. Okay, so with the ink storage, I didn't realise they were so tall. My top layers are going to be fairly big then, because this, you put that down there, that's actually 3 3/4, almost 3 3/4 inches tall with the little thing on it. So, and these are the distressing Reinkers, right, which I should do on my distressing storage unit. So for the others, I should do, how big are they? These are not so big. So these are about 2 7/8 inches. So these are 3 inches tall. Not much shorter, but they still are. Let me see what I've got. Stampin' Up refills. I think I've got, 5 of those. And I've got 2 Ranger archivals. So looks like I'm going to have to be placing another order for Reinkers. But because I thought I had the Memento, but I don't. Now these Stampin' Up newer ones are actually a bit bigger, so they are 3 inches tall. Alright, so what I've decided is, given that they're not quite, oh yeah, they're probably 1 inch in diameter and 3 inches tall, I'm just going to go 1 1/2 inches tall for the sections to sit them in, and 1 inch, give them 1 inch. So this one here is what, 3 inches. So if I cut this in half at 1 1/2 inches, because that's going to be my height, and then each of those, or each of these are going to be 1 inch wide, because that's the width of the diameter of the bottles. Okay, so just going to do this, score it with my trimmer, and then I can cut it with my craft knife. Right, so you need 25, you need 50 of these 1 1/2 by 1 inch pieces of chipboard. which is roughly, well, see, I only got 11 out of a 12-inch strip, so sorry, 5 out of an 11-inch strip instead of 5? No, 11 out of a 12-inch strip. So you should be able to get at least 6. But I had 3-inch strips left over from cutting the 9-inch by 12-inch piece of the outer casing, so you should have 4 of those strips, which is more than enough. So now what I'm doing is I'm cutting a piece of craft cardstock. You can use whatever if you want, black or white, but this is fairly strong. And I'm cutting these to just over the 1.5-inch mark. I'm doing that because I like to allow for the thickness of the chipboard. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay. So this is 8.5-inch by 11 paper, so you should get your 5 strips out of that. And now what we want to do is score it in the middle at 3/4 of an inch. Now I've moved all my stuff around, so I'm looking for my bone folder. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch. Oh, I did that a bit over, didn't I? Silly girl. Alright, so I'm just gonna, okay, no, I'm still gonna score it just at the 3/4 inch mark, because once it folds over it should meet up. So score it at the 3/4 inch mark with your 1.5-inch edge up the top of your scoreboard. And now we need some score tape. So I wonder if my 3/4 inch might be too big for that. It'll be fine for one side, but I'll use 2 strips of the 1/4 inch on the other side. So okay, now what I like to do is use my scoreboard for this process, because it helps with lining up your strips. Now, which is the shortest side? Okay, there. So I can line that up there so that it pushes up against the back and the side nice and easy. So what I'm going to do is remove both. No, remove one. Okay, sit that down so it butts up against the back of that scoreboard, and then sit this one right up against the front and the top and the side, and stuck down to that score tape there. Okay, so now what we need to do is grab another strip of the same width of your thickness of your chipboard, slide it down there like that. Let me zoom in, move this over, so there like that, and then stick down your next strip. Okay, so there you'll see that you've got the thickness of your chipboard there as the gap, because that is going to sit in there like that. So that's why we need that thickness there. I want to grab another strip of the chipboard because it helps to have a couple. I'm just going to slot that in there, and then we'll put this one here, and then we'll put another. What am I going to call these? I don't know. Okay, let's bring that down so you can actually see. So now I'm going to take that one out, butt it up against that one there, and then put another slat. That's it. Another slat in, making sure it's butted up against that one nice and tight, like that. Remove that one there, slaughter in there, and another slat. I'm pushing it up against that chipboard piece there, and up against the end of the top edge of the scoreboard. 5. Hopefully we'll get 5 nice and evenly along here. It's 11 inches, so we've got the thickness of the chipboard between each of these pieces, so that shouldn't add up to more than an inch. Okay, 2 pieces to go, and then we'll have 2 of these strips that we need. Well, 2 of the 10 that we need. Okay, yep, that's going to fit in there quite nicely. So, one more. There. Okay, take these out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 2 strips of the 5 slat panels. We were going to remove the backing tape off the other side, and we're going to fold it down on top of those. And you'll see now that even though that bottom edge was shorter, narrower, you can still see after that top edge has gone over, you can still see that bottom edge. So it's actually helped, I think. Alright. So now to do this, I'll just show you how to do this one while I go off and make the rest. So grab your craft knife, and what I'm going to do now is just, oops, cutting the chipboard there, cut that down off there like that. That's nice and flush, and then go over and cut that 5-piece section off, and then cut that cardstock off there to even it up, and there we've got 2 of our strips, so they'll just slot into each other like that. So once they all go in there, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, 5. I wanted 6, didn't I? Maybe we just do the 5. Silly girl, because that's going to be 5 1/4 inches. If we did 6, it's going to be just over the 6 1/4 inches, which was larger than the top of the unit. But having said that, it doesn't matter if it's larger. Oh, let's just do 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Silly girl. So we'll have room for 25 on one layer and then 25 on the next layer, which is okay because the unit will hold 14 times 4 is 40, 56. Oh, so 6 of them won't have a Reinker. Maybe I should redo that and do 6. I'll think about it and come back.